Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. After the death of American Pickers Frank Fritz this past September, his co-host and series creator Mike Wolfe has opened up about losing him. During a conversation, Wolfe shared details of Fritz's struggle with addiction. Wolfe also revealed how he tried to help him, as well as sharing a few words in his memory. Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz served as co-hosts on American Pickers when it first began in 2010. The series, which aired on the History Channel, saw Wolfe and Fritz venture throughout America in search of artifacts they can buy from collectors. Fritz had made his last appearance on American Pickers in March 2020. He was officially fired from the show the following year. In a recent conversation with People, Wolfe talked about Fritz's firing from the show. He also described how his former co-host struggled with addiction. As Wolfe explained, Fritz had undergone surgery after hurting his back moving things around his home. As Wolfe noted, the timing made things especially dangerous. Wolfe noted that, with that time off and him having surgery, it was like the perfect storm. He became addicted to opioids, and that's when everything changed. While discussing what happened, Wolfe made it a point to note that he felt he didn't have the right to tell Fritz's story, saying that rightfully belonged to Fritz. However, he noted, "But I do have, I feel, the right to tell the personal story of how myself and so many people struggled to navigate what was going on in his life." Wolfe also revealed that he tried to stage an intervention on Fritz's behalf. As he shared, "I remember running into him like a month later. He said he was just going to handle everything on his own, and I asked him how he was doing. He said, 'I'm fine, I'm fine. No, I'm really fine.' And then like a month later, he was gone." Saying he never, ever gave up on Fritz, Wolfe said he also tried to help Fritz enter rehab. Ultimately, he noted, "And so watching Frank doing some of the things that he was doing, it was really hard." The issues also impacted the show, with production calling for negative drug tests. Wolfe noted it was the network that made the final decision on what the show would do. "They're just like, listen, we have to move on. We have to keep going with this. I had mixed emotions about doing that, and we were just trying to figure out what we were going to do." Wolfe then compared losing Fritz to losing a brother. Fritz leaving the show wasn't easy for him. As Wolfe shared, "I was just kind of left to fend for myself in a lot of ways. I could finish his sentences. He could finish my sentences." Wolfe also noted there was talk of having Fritz eventually rejoin the show. However, in 2022, he realized it wasn't ever going to happen after he suffered a stroke in 2022. Ultimately, Wolfe ended the conversation with some words describing his former co-host. As he shared, "He was a beautiful, beautiful person that, to be honest with you, who knows what our lives would have been like if there was never a show," says Wolfe. "I just want people to know who he was." The world of American Pickers has always been filled with excitement, discovery, and the thrill of unearthing hidden treasures. However, behind the scenes of this beloved show, there have been challenges that go far beyond just finding antiques. Recently, Mike Wolfe, the longtime co-host of American Pickers, opened up about a deeply personal and painful chapter in his friendship with Frank Fritz, Frank's battle with drug addiction. For years, Frank Fritz was one half of the dynamic duo that captivated fans with their passion for picking and restoring antiques. His chemistry with Mike was undeniable, making their on-screen partnership one of the most iconic in reality TV. However, their friendship and collaboration took a hit when Frank's personal struggles became public, particularly with substance abuse. Mike's decision to open up about Frank's addiction sheds light on a difficult period in both men's lives and reveals a side of their relationship that fans may not have fully understood. Let's dive into the story behind Mike's revelations, how Frank's addiction impacted both of their lives, and what it means for the future of American Pickers. Mike Wolfe has always been open about his deep care and respect for Frank, both as a co-host and a friend. In a recent interview, Mike spoke candidly about Frank's struggle with drug addiction, revealing how it affected their relationship and the show. "I think it's important that people understand the battle Frank faced," Mike shared. "Addiction is a powerful thing, and it has a way of changing people, sometimes in ways that are hard to recognize. I've watched my friend go through this, and it's been tough, not just on him, but on everyone around him, including me. Mike went on to explain that Frank's addiction had become a growing concern over the years, and though he tried to be supportive, there were times when the situation seemed hopeless. "You don't want to give up on a friend, but there were moments when I didn't know what to do," Mike confessed. "All I could do was keep showing up, keep being there, and hope he would make the decision to get better." This revelation has added a layer of complexity to their relationship, showing that the bond between Mike and Frank was more than just a partnership on American Pickers. It was a true friendship, one that saw both the highs and the lows of life. For many fans, American Pickers was an escape into the world of antique hunting and history. But behind the scenes, Frank's struggle with addiction affected both the show's dynamics and his personal health. The show was built on the chemistry between Mike and Frank, with their friendly banter, complementary personalities, and shared passion for the thrill of the find. As Frank's addiction began to take a more visible toll on his life, it became apparent to both Mike and the producers that something had to change. In the years leading up to his departure from American Pickers, Frank's behavior and performance began to reflect the impact of his substance abuse. Though B&B fans had noticed his absence from certain episodes, it wasn't until Mike's recent revelation that the full extent of Frank's struggles came to light. "We all noticed changes in Frank," Mike recalled. "He wasn't showing up the way he used to. There were days when he wasn't himself, and it became clear that something wasn't right. But addiction isn't something that's easy to talk about, and it's even harder to accept when someone you care about is going through it." Over the years, Mike and Frank's friendship was tested in ways that many fans might not have realized. Addiction, by nature, is a complex and isolating experience, and Mike found himself caught between being a supportive friend and a colleague trying to maintain the success of their show. Being in this industry, you're constantly in front of cameras. It's hard to hide things when your whole life is being documented, Mike explained. "At the same time, I didn't want to air Frank's personal struggles to the world. It wasn't my place." But as Frank's addiction worsened, it became harder to ignore the effects on his work and the show. There were multiple occasions where Mike had to step in and manage things alone, stepping up in ways that he had never expected. At one point, Mike even reached out to Frank's family in hopes of helping him get the professional care he needed. "I reached out to Frank's people and tried to get in help," Mike admitted. "But at the end of the day, Frank had to want to help himself. It's a painful reality, but it's the truth of addiction." Despite all the challenges, Mike never stopped caring for Frank. "He's family to me," Mike said. "No matter what happened with the show or anything else, Frank is someone I'll always care about." In 2020, Frank's absence from American Pickers became more noticeable. He was not appearing on the show as frequently, and his interactions with Mike were less frequent. At the time, fans speculated about whether Frank was simply taking a break or stepping back from the show, but it was clear that something more was at play. Eventually, Frank did address his absence publicly, revealing that he had been struggling with health issues, which many believed to be linked to his addiction. Mike's comments now shed light on the true extent of those struggles, and it's clear that Frank's departure was not just a career decision, but a result of his personal battle. "It was a tough time for both of us," Mike shared. "We've always been a team, and it felt like the team was falling apart. But in the end, Frank needed to focus on getting better." In 2021, Frank officially left American Pickers, and Mike continued the show solo for a while. The departure of such an iconic figure left a noticeable gap in the show's dynamic, but Mike's continued support for Frank behind the scenes showed just how much the friendship meant to him. While Frank's journey with addiction has been long and difficult, there is hope for recovery. In interviews and social media posts, Frank has hinted at working on getting healthier and focusing on his well-being. Whether or not he'll return to the world of American Pickers remains uncertain, but fans continue to send their support for his recovery. Mike, too, has remained hopeful. "Addiction is a battle," Mike said. "But I know Frank, and I know he's a fighter. He's come through so much, and I believe he can come out of this stronger." With Frank's struggles up in the open, it's clear that American Pickers will never be quite the same. The chemistry between Mike and Frank was a huge part of what made the show so special, and while Mike will continue to carry on the picking tradition, there's an undeniable gap without Frank by his side. The future of American Pickers may see a shift. Fans have wondered if new co-hosts will step in to fill the space left by Frank's departure, but Mike's unique bond with Frank will always be a defining part of the show's history. At the same time, Mike's open discussion about Frank's addiction could inspire viewers to take a more compassionate and understanding look at those who struggle with substance abuse. It's a reminder that, even behind the cameras, American Pickers is more than just about collecting antiques. It's about real-life challenges, friendships, and personal growth. As Mike Wolfe continues on with American Pickers, the support for Frank Fritz is far from over. The road ahead may be uncertain, but one thing is clear: Mike's love and loyalty to his friend will always be at the heart of the show's story. Fans are rooting for Frank's full recovery and look forward to the day when he can return, whether to the show or simply to continue his journey in a healthier, happier place.